What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope we are all doing extremely well. Hopefully, you guys are doing well here. We have a bit of a usual early stream. Usually, I do these streams a little bit later in the afternoon and a little bit at night. But, some stuff going on today. And, of course, I didn't want to miss a stream. As you know, I like to come on these streams. For the most part, now that, things are a little quiet around MLB to an extent, things are starting to amp up. So I will be doing these streams anywhere from once to twice a week to cover everything that is really going on with the Mets and Major League Baseball. But before we get into everything, we got a lot of stuff to go over. Everything from Aaron Loup to Steven Matz. I know that's been a hot topic. Slash the Steve Cohen tweeting issue to the just recent signing of Plummer, one of the minor league now Major League free agents. So we're going to be talking about all that today. But before we dive into that, please, everyone, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, tell your friends about this channel. We're, I think, like 5 or 4 subscribers away from 500. So please, let's try to get to 500 subs as soon as possible. Otherwise, appreciate you guys tuning in. And overall, I guess, let's stop wasting any more time and let's dive right into all of the New York Mets news. So as we know, the first topic to go over is in regards to Aaron Loup. Aaron Loup is officially, he wasn't even on the Mets roster, I guess, when the time happened, but he is no longer going to be on the New York Mets roster. I did make a video in regards to Aaron Loup, so please, everyone, if you could check that out, that would be appreciated. Overall, we saw Aaron Loup will no longer be on the Mets roster. As we saw, the Anaheim Angels have gave him a 2-year deal worth $17 million. That is definitely quite a bit of money for a reliever. And you know what? In my opinion, Aaron Loup definitely deserved it. Listen, I get it. Relievers, they can be very, very, very streaky. That is a fact. Bullpen pitchers can be streaky. They could have a good first half, a terrible second half. They could have a good year and then a bad year. That is what's really interesting about bullpen pitchers. Aaron Loup will be on the Anaheim Angels squadron. The Angels never really go after pitching. The Angels haven't gone after pitching in, like the past 6 years. And what do? They get 2 pitchers that are pretty much known with the Mets. So definitely tough to see if you're a New York Mets fan, including myself. But yeah, otherwise, not a bad signing for the Angels. The Angels really needed some bullpen arms. I mean, their rotation is very limited. You really only got Ohtani and Syndergaard that you can kind of trust. And I don't even know how much trust you could put into Syndergaard. So, I mean, you really just have really one solidified spot in that rotation. And, I mean, then Ohtani, on the other hand, he's a two-way player. So the injury, could increase. Days off could be something. I mean, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot's a bunch of, sub 4, 5, 6 ERA guys. So how much can you really trust that? Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's really that for the most part. Good for the Angels. Solid signing. We know we went over Syndergaard last video, but solid signing. For Aaron Loup, I guess, good for them. I mean, like I said in these past videos, I feel so silly because I said the Mets and Aaron Loup should have been an easy signing. They could have got that out of the way. We know during all of Aaron Loup's press conferences, he pretty much stated he wants to stay with the Mets. He seems to like it here. And honestly, I really don't know what happened. I'm guessing they got into talks. They had a better agreement. And yeah, I guess that's really it with Aaron Loup. Good for them, I guess. So yeah, that is it with Aaron Loup. Now let's get into the big topic of the day, and that is with the one and only Steven Matz. We saw late last night, and I'm talking late last night, like midnight or 11 Eastern Standard Time, that the St. Louis Cardinals signed Steven Matz to a 4-year, $44 million deal. This honestly comes to surprise. I did not expect the St. Louis Cardinals to go after him. Yeah, I did not. I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals, listen, they needed pitching. I mean, a lot of their rotation is is really a lot of veterans. So, it's really good to try to get, a young prime guy. I don't know how old Steven Matz is. I think, how old is Steven Matz? Steven Matz is 30 years old. Okay, so you're getting about a prime player. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. I will tell you that is pretty good. So honestly, good to see the St. Louis Cardinals go after some pitching. They needed it. They're really close to being a division contender. They had that good long hot spree towards the end of the season. Pitching was definitely a part of that. If their offense can continue to build up, Cardinals will be shopping. Otherwise, solid signing, honestly, Steven Matz. Steven Matz, he could easily be a solid pitcher, in my opinion. I think he just needed to get out of New York. The command, the plate discipline was something on the pitcher's mound. The anger and the anxiety was something. We saw the location on his pitches. Regardless, even when he was dealing with Wilson Ramos, he'd throw a ball in the dirt, and then you'd see him, screaming his glove. And, you can't do that. I mean, that's not going to help you. Just like Jeff McNeil did this whole season when he grounded out or got out. He threw his helmet. He threw his bat. He'd be dropping F-bombs. Same thing with Steven Matz. Maybe he wouldn't be dropping F-bombs and cursing, but you see him shuffle around and, kind of let out some anger. And I just feel you really can't do that as a pitcher. You can, but I just feel it's not going to necessarily help you and ease your anxiety. Otherwise, good for Steven Matz. The Cardinals, they need some left-handed pitching, and they got it. And pretty much in result to that, I guess that leads on to our next topic for the day. And obviously, that is with the New York Mets owner, Steve Cohen. We know that Steve Cohen is a guy who loves Twitter. He loves Twitter. Twitter is pretty much his favorite thing in the world. And pretty much, I'm guessing the Mets and Steven Matz were in talks to sign together. We know that Steve Cohen and Sandy Alderson, the current the current people that the current Mets executives, that's the word I was trying to say, that traded away Steven Matz pretty much around last year at this time, wanted him back. We saw that Steven Matz had a solid first half with the Toronto Blue Jays, and then he pretty much struggled. So we saw that. That was pretty obvious. He struggled in the second half. Mets were having some reunification possibilities. We know that they pretty much wanted him back for the most part. And, listen, he's a left-handed pitcher. I think that's really the big reason why. So, yeah, that's really that. And then pretty much they wanted him back. We know that. I don't need to say anything else. And then pretty much there were some talks that they were going after a 3 to 4 year deal, something like that, around the ballpark of $44 million. And then pretty much Steve Cohen pretty much tweeted out this morning. They were in talks, and he pretty much tweeted out, "I'm not happy this morning. I've never seen such unprofessional behavior exhibited by a player's agent. I guess words and promises do not matter." So that is what Steve Cohen tweeted out this morning. Obviously, Cohen was not a very happy camper. I'm guessing I wasn't there, so I don't really necessarily know what they were going to be talking about. But it seems like the New York Mets and Steven Matz were having some reunification talks, and I'm guessing they had a possibility of a deal going on. I'm not gonna say that it was anything like it was like a really close on deal. But yeah, overall that happened. So that kind of was pretty unfortunate. No. We're good guys. Don't worry. David's cool. David is a cool guy. Daniel's a cool guy. So yeah, that's really that with Steven Matz and Steve Cohen. A lot of the Steves are causing some issues for the Mets, it seems. Now getting into the biggest topic for today, I guess, and I guess the best topic to talk about today. And that is the New York Mets signing outfielder Nick Plummer to a 1-year contract at the major league level. Nick Plummer, we acquired him from the St. Louis Cardinals organization. He was a top-ranked prospect in the St. Louis Cardinals system. We saw that he was drafted in the first round, 23rd pick overall in the 2015 draft. 2015 seems to just be the best year for the Mets, it seems. So that is that. Mets signed him. He's a guy who has a nice high walk rate. He hits for a high average. He's 25 years old. We could see this season. Obviously, he has yet to make his major league debut, but we saw this season he spent some time in Double-A and then Triple-A and really seemed to rake out. Obviously, he batted .280, 15 home runs, 54 RBIs, posting a .363 on-base percentage. Pretty good. Listen, I don't expect him to start the season with the Mets. He will be on the 40-man roster, so who knows? Maybe he will start with the Mets. I don't know. We know that the Mets outfield depth is kind of vague. you really just have, in terms of natural outfielders, you really just have Brandon Nimmo and Khalil Lee. I mean, if you put Jeff McNeil out there, yeah, he's not considered a natural outfielder. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see how that goes, honestly. So I mean, that could honestly be a solid move down the line. He is a number one prospect. We know that the Cardinals have had a history of trading away some big guys, and I mean, Randy Arozarena is definitely a big one. They have had a history of trading away some guys that definitely came back and seemed to nail them right in the head. So if you're a Cardinals fan, definitely a little nerve-wracking. And I mean, I don't blame them, obviously. The outfield depth is something, yeah, it's obviously something. So yeah, I mean, that's really it in terms of Mets news, Major League Baseball news. We know that some signings have been going on. Otherwise, it's been quiet. So we are going to get into your guys' comments, questions, and concerns. So if you guys have any comments, talking baseball, only baseball for the next hour or so, we'll see how things go. If you guys have any baseball questions, Mets, Phillies, Braves, Dodgers, Major League Baseball executives, it could be up at the CBA. We know that's been very hot right now going on with talks. Drop it below. I'd be very interested to hear what you guys have to say. And yeah, I guess let's dive right into it. You know, kind of a quiet stream today. You know, I get it. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Kind of an early stream. I planned this last minute because I would not be able to stream tomorrow or Friday. And of course, I wanted to, you know, come on here and talk with you guys because I love doing this. You know, you guys are awesome. You guys give me great questions. I understand people are very upset with the Mets right now. I get it. I am too. I mean, I know I'm not showing it, but what's the point of me just coming onto the stream, throwing my chair, throwing rages, when there's really nothing I could do? And maybe I should say that to myself when the Mets are actually playing games this season. But yeah, let's get into some comments. Sports fan, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Gio, what's going on? No rage stream. Not worth it. Not even worth it at this rate. Towley, I think that's how you pronounce it. Arts and Gaming Channel, what's going on? Trey, what's going on? Good to see you here, buddy. Appreciate you tuning in. LFGM, indeed. YouTube Productions, what's going on? Logan, what's going on? John, appreciate you guys tuning in. Ibindos, Kobe, Daniel, what's going on? Daniel says, I'm glad Matt signed with the Cardinals. Yeah, I mean, I am too, honestly. Good for him. Hopefully you did hear my spiel about that. Yeah, I think it was a solid deal. Yeah. Kobe says Mets need to have a strong bullpen. It's a must. If starting pitching gets hurt or tired, they need to have a bullpen with strong arms ready for battle. I agree, and I think that's a big reason that the Mets kind of went Kaputskis in the second half, is that they had a really strong pitching staff. They really did. They really had a strong pitching staff in the first half, and pretty much what happened was a lot of their guys got hurt. We know DeGrom got hurt, and a lot of their starting pitching got hurt. And then what did it do? It started the DeGrom injury, I think, was very notorious because DeGrom would go out there. DeGrom would give you 7-8 innings, and you would only have to use one or two bullpen guys. One or two. Maybe you'd use Lugo for one and then Diaz to close it out. And then obviously we saw what happened was, you know, you're using guys like whether it was Luke Hazy, who's only going to go 2 innings, you'd have Loup start a game, and you'd really tax your bullpen. And it started to put these guys like Familia. Familia is a great example. Juris Familia in the first half was pretty solid. Second half came, he started to get more playing time. His innings pitched went up. His arm started to get tired, and he got hurt. He got hurt. So yeah, I mean, it sucks. It really does. I'm pissed about Loup. Yeah, Daniel, I feel you, brother. I feel you, brother. I am very pissed myself. This is something that, you know, really, I mean, I feel like a fool. I was coming on these streams telling everyone, oh, Loup should be an easy signing. We should get that out of the way in a minute. Sadly, no. Mets need to stay healthy. I agree with you, Daniel, 100%. Health is pretty much one of the biggest things, and I know health is kind of a cheap excuse, but for the Mets in this case, it's a big excuse. Trey says, Hayden, is there a single sealed bid on Suzuki or an ongoing negotiation? So I did actually upload a video on Seiyu Suzuki, so if you guys do want to check that out, that would be very much appreciated. I uploaded it 2 days ago, so please feel free to check that out. Let me know your thoughts if you guys want to comment on that. As of right now, he was posted for MLB. I believe he has till December 22nd to kind of like full on put a deal. We know that the CBA could potentially jeopardize that. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see. I think, you know, Suzuki is a guy. I mean, yeah, you have to be cognizant. How they play baseball in the NPB versus the MLB is completely different. So I'm not saying that you know, he's not going to succeed in the MLB, but you know, we look at the stats and they're inflated. I mean, the on-base percentage, the walk rate, the limited strikeouts. What I find mind-boggling is a power hitter. A power hitter can have such low strikeout rates. I mean, I find that crazy. You know, you don't expect that. You really don't. So I find it interesting. Marco, what's going on? Marco says, no guarantee Loup will be as dominant next season. Go after Shreve. Thank you for saying that. You know, listen, I understand relievers, they're very streaky guys. Juris Familia had a great first half, terrible second half. There's so many guys. Andrew Chafin, great first half, terrible second half. I mean, there's so many guys who had an amazing 2020 or a terrible 2020 and then did amazing this year. That's the thing about relievers, is that they are so unpredictable. You don't know what to say with them. But overall, I think it's going to be interesting. Elliot, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in, brother. John, what's going on? He says, what's good, Hayden? Who are your top 3 free agents that you would want? So obviously, I mean, I guess looking at the biggest free agents right now in the market, in terms of who I would want, I would love the Mets to sign Carlos Correa. I don't think it's going to happen at this rate. Who would I want? I would love some pitching depth would really be something that's going on there right now. Chris Bryant would be a guy I would like, but that'll definitely detail a lot. Some free agents that I would like, I mean, I would love the Mets, honestly, to try and land a guy, whether that is a third baseman. Third base would be really nice. I don't know. Let's see some free agents that are on the market right now. There are a fair amount, a lot of pitching. A lot of pitchers are really selling quickly, and maybe because that has something to do with the CBA, because, you know, they want to sign before a possible lockout happens. I mean, I don't blame them. I think majority of pitchers easily would want to do that. So let's look at some guys. So let's look at some infielders. I mean, infield is definitely a position that needs to be addressed. So 3 guys that I would like. I mean, obviously, Carlos Correa stands out. Desclafani already signed. I would have liked to have him. Graveman signed. I mean, Marcus Stroman, I mean, listen, regardless, I understand Stroman. He blocked me on Twitter. Very upset about that. And I understand Stroman as a personality. As a player, I would like him back on the Mets. But I don't know about his personality. 3 guys that I would want, probably Marcus Stroman. Who else do we have on this list? Because it's like, it's a lot of bullpen arms, you notice. And this list is pretty bad. Javier Baez, Marcus Stroman. So you're re-signing those 2 guys. And I guess if we're going from the more foreign, I mean, yeah, those are more the domestic options you have. In terms of the more foreign, I mean, trying to think who else is out there. I mean, some bullpen arms would always be nice. Raisel Iglesias would be nice. If you want to get a utility guy, Chris Taylor could be nice. Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there, though. Chasen Treep isn't that good. Yeah, I know he didn't have the best season this year with Pittsburgh, but he was all right with the Mets. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you sign him to a cheap deal with an option, a minor league option or something. Loup should have been a priority. Sad to see him go. I agree with you, Ivan Dosa. I really do agree with you on that. That was unfortunate, and that really should have never been the case. I mean, the Mets should have re-signed Aaron Loup, and it should have been an easy signing. LFGM, absolutely. I hope they re-sign Baez. Me too, Daniel. Me too. Colby says, thoughts on Mets signing Nick Plummer. Hopefully you did hear my little spiel about that. There's not really much about to say about him. I mean, he was a high-viewed prospect, so kind of surprising the Cardinals are getting rid of a highly viewed prospect. Could it be another Randy Rosarena 2.0? I don't know. He gets on base a lot. He could be a good table setter. Mets have limited outfield depth. I mean, in terms of the major league level, only natural guys you have is Nimmo. Khalil Lee should probably be starting the season on the 40-man roster. And I mean, that's it. You have like Carlos Cortez, who's like a year or 2 away. you don't really have much prospects that are in the outfield in the outfield. So, that's one thing, and that's good, is that, coming ahead, the Mets have 6 like draft picks in like the first 2 rounds. And that's what I like, is that the Mets, I mean, if you get 6 guys in the first 2 rounds, I heard there's a lot of good outfielders on there. So that could really be something good for the Mets. LFGM, of course, Ibindos. John says, I'm not upset about Matz at all. Thor and Loup hurts. We need to replace those guys ASAP. Yeah, I mean, Steven Matz, I'm not as upset about. And it makes no sense, is that, I'm looking at Twitter, I'm looking online, I'm looking on Instagram, and everyone's saying, oh, if the Mets get Steven Matz, I am going to go get upset. But if the Mets don't get Steven Matz, I'm going to be upset. I'm like, well, which is it? I feel regardless, if the Mets did get him, everyone would be complaining, or if we didn't. If we got him, you could have used him in a small bullpen role, maybe work with him on his plate command with Jeremy Hefner. And then, I mean, if you don't get him, then you go after some other left-handed pitching. I think the only reason I really would have wanted him is just because he's a lefty, but the Mets, can't go that route. Mets suck? Yeah, you're not wrong, Daniel. Galapos, I believe that's how you pronounce that, says, now no, Loup, who's the left-handed guy in the bullpen. And that brings on to my other point is, I mean, who is really out there that's a lefty? Chasen Shreve, Andrew Chafin. Otherwise, the options are limited. Chafin didn't really have the best second half, obviously. He was in talks of coming here at the trade deadline. Didn't happen. Otherwise, kind of out limited options. LFGM, what's going on? Nick and Ruben. Trey says, it's upsetting to see Aaron Loup walk so quickly and randomly. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I like I said for the 10th time, and I'll say it for the 11th, I thought Loup would sign easy like that. He wanted to stay here, it seemed. And I guess, like Daniel says, money talks. I mean, would the Mets have gave him $17 million? I don't know. For 2 years, that definitely is a big price. But I just don't know how. I don't know. I mean, he was really the only guy that was dominant in this bullpen this year. It was really just him. I mean, and it's unfortunate that Luis Rojas really didn't manage him properly. He did, and a lot of people figured Aaron Loup would be a victim of the 3-batter minimum. Didn't matter. You put him in an opener. You put him in to close the game, even though he never closed games. You put him in the 7th, 6th, 8th. He was pretty much elite in every aspect. He gave 1 home run to Juan Soto this season. That's awesome. 2 extra base hits the whole season. That's elite. He only had 56 innings pitched, and that's what really, really got him. And it sucks. But hey, you know what? That's how that is how things seem to work. But yeah, we're gonna have to see how that goes. And yeah, I mean, the money could have been something, sure. I mean, he's not making as much as a guy like Cynic. Well, yeah, no, I can see the point. I love GM. Kobe says, personally, I don't want Steven Matz back. He can't handle the New York pressure. It's best he stays in a smaller market city. Otherwise, I wish him the best of luck. Yeah, I agree with 100%. I wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he could try and keep his anger together. And yeah, that's all I could say. Timothy, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. He says, well, the Mets named Buck Showalter as their manager. And that's a good point you bring up. The Mets don't even have a manager. Who is there to manage? And that's one thing I want to add. I think someone asked me this, and I don't know, maybe they didn't. Someone asked it, I think. It was, can the Mets sign pitching with no manager? And it's hard because, let's say I'm Kevin Gausman, or let's say I'm John Smith, a random pitcher, I don't know. And, the Mets give me an offer, and I want to go there, but I don't know who's going to manage me. I don't know who's going to manage me out of the bullpen. I don't know what situations they're going to use me in. It doesn't work. It's like applying for your job and you don't know who your boss is and how they're going to use you. Mets got to name a manager really soon. Is Buck Showalter the guy? I hope not. He's been out of the league so long. I mean, we saw what he did with the Orioles. I just think he's outdated. I mean, it's like, the Mets are probably going to get some nobody manager and it'll turn out to be amazing. I mean, I just hate to see another placeholder manager come in. We've had 5 managers in the last 5 years. Terry Collins, Mickey, was it Jerry Manuel, Terry Collins, Mickey Callaway? I mean, you're really Luis Rojas, and now you're going on to the 5th. You know, you really got to get someone here. And look what it does to the clubhouse presence. I mean, the clubhouse established there was no leader. There was no managerial leader in the dugout this season. That's a fact. Rojas was clueless. That's proven. But, you know, a lot of these pitchers, they don't know what situations they're going to be in. A lot of these batters don't know where they're going to be in the lineup, roster construction, lineup construction, coaching stuff. You know, you need a manager. You know, you're going to get one soon. Night Baseball and Sports, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. If everyone can, check Night Baseball Sports out. Great guy. Daniel Kim says, look at Eduardo Rodriguez. He was offered $18.4 million from the Red Sox, but the Tigers offered 4 years at $77 million, so he was smart and took the $77 million. Yeah, I mean, definitely, listen, money talks. I mean, 100%. I agree. Is money necessarily the biggest thing to win championships? No. But I think at the personal point, money is going to drag someone closer. And I agree with you on that. Personally, yeah, I mean, I can't really go wrong with you on that. Tigers, honestly, good signing for the Tigers there. I think I talked about that last stream. AB, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Dave, what's going on? Dave says, Mets just can't do anything right. I'm tired of it. I feel you, Dave. I feel you. I've been there. LFGM says, Kobe, what's going on? That's right. I can't say Elite Loup anymore. No. Well, you know what? Hey, listen, he could be elite somewhere else, maybe. Night Baseball Sports says, Angels actually signing pitchers this offseason. I know, for the past 6 years with Epler, coincidence, they've never signed pitching. I mean, they gave that huge contract to Trout. They convinced Ohtani to come over. They were able to give that huge contract to Anthony Rendon. Hasn't paid off, but injuries and that stuff has been put aside. Besides the point, I think Anthony Rendon could hopefully break out soon with the Angels. Otherwise, yeah, the 1 year they signed pitching. I mean, listen, I'm not saying Syndergaard's going to be super reliable. Loup, we'll see. But the point is, it's pitching. Who do you want as Mets manager? And that's the thing. Like, who's out there? I mean, Beltran could be a guy, but I feel he has no managerial experience. Showalter's been named. I mean, do you call a guy from AAA? There's really not a whole lot of options out there for the Mets manager. You know, I just don't. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I really don't know. There's not a whole lot of options out there, I feel. Yeah, it really isn't. Who would you, Michael says, would you rather the Mets make free agent signings or 1 or 2 trades this offseason? I'm going to go free agent signings 100%. I wouldn't mind trades, but more like a small minor league, kind of like the 3-way, how we got Khalil Lee. Just because, you know, the Mets farm system was ranked 22 by MLB Pipeline, and I want the Mets to build their farm system, continue to build it. And I just feel, you know, trading away, you know, our prospects doesn't help. You know, if you could trade away a guy like J.D. Davis and Dom Smith and then maybe like a 30th prospect, that's fine. But, you know, I don't want to be trading away, you know, Mauricio or any of these guys or any of these big name guys soon. Mauricio would be the only guy, obviously. Elliot says, you think the Rangers will land Sturry and Kershaw? So this is my problem with everyone thinking the Rangers are going to make moves. And Elliot, this is, I mean, I could see it happening. I mean, I think Kershaw's from Texas. He said he would want to stay out there. The Rangers literally tore apart their team for the most part at the trade deadline. They got rid of Gallo. They got rid of Gibson. They have Adolis Garcia, and that's really it. They have their prospects. Yes, they do have their catching prospects, Sam Huff, some of their pitching prospects coming up. Okay, that's fine. Could be next year. Could be 2023. They have prospects coming up. They're highly viewed. I get that. But why would you trade away? They're in a rebuild. They stated they're in a rebuild. They took a weird route for their rebuild and traded away Gallo and Gibson. And now they're going to buy this offseason? I don't get that. That's a little weird in my opinion. Do I think it could happen? Absolutely. Do I think it's the best choice? No. Because, I mean, Kershaw and Story, are they really going to be winning there? I don't know. I would like Kevin Gausman. Yeah, Gausman is honestly, I think, a fair pick in my eyes. I think he could definitely be something coming soon. We know Desclafani and Cobb, I believe, are signing with the Giants. So we'll see. Hopefully the Mets could try to get some contract out to him. We know the Mets have expressed some interest. Sorry about that. Kobe says, think the Mets will sign before December 1st. We'll sign Baez before December 1st. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I think they could definitely try and get something working before December 1st. A lot of the guys, a lot of pitching prospects are starting to make moves before December 1st. Why? The CBA. Will they get more money afterwards? Probably, but I think they want to just be affiliated with the team before the lockdown happens because free agency, everything's going to get shut down. Everything is really going to get shut down. Why did Strowman block me on Twitter? So pretty much what happened was, and Daniel too asked me, so David and Daniel, so pretty much what happened was nothing. Legitimately nothing happened. I never messaged him. I've never tagged him. I think maybe I've liked a couple of his pictures. I've never tagged him, never posted. I don't think I've ever posted a single thing about him on Twitter. And you guys can look on my Twitter. I randomly just look at someone sends a tweet and it says I can't look at it. I'm like, why? Does Strowman block me? I'm like, huh? I have no idea. I know Strowman blocks a lot of people on Twitter. I don't know why, but it's his account. He could do whatever he wants. I could really care less. But yeah, it was weird. Any chance the Mets have John Means? Yeah, I think there's a possibility the Mets could pursue interest. I don't really think the Mets would go after him. I think John Means could be a solid guy. He's really like the only guy from the Orioles. Everyone's like, oh, he's an all-star. Yeah, because the Orioles had no one good on that team to represent them in the all-star game. John Means, he had a good first half. He had the no-hitter. I just don't really think John Means is really a guy for the Mets. I think on a solid team, he could probably start, he could probably be a fourth or fifth starter. I just don't really see it on the Mets, maybe. Let's take a look-see at what's his face, John Means. We know we have the no-hitter. I don't know if he's a spider attack merchant, and I hate to call him a spider attack merchant. Finished this season 4 wins above replacement, 6-9 loss record, 3.62 ERA, 1.030 whip, 134 strikeouts, and just shy of 150 innings pitched. Solid. He's projected to be 7-9, 388. So those are some of your basic stats for 2022. He really had a good first half. Spider attack got banned, and he started to slip a little bit. I want to say his spin rate and RPMs took a little bit of a dip. But yeah, I don't know. Personally, probably isn't my number one pick, and I wouldn't really want to give up a whole lot for him, just because I don't know how much you're going to get out of him. I'm probably going to decline it. I'd rather get him as a free agent rather than a trade, because I don't want to give up a lot for him, really, is my biggest thing. LFGM, of course. Baseball's mayor. Appreciate you tuning in. We need to get rid of Edwin Diaz. Also, so many holes to fill. Yeah, this is my problem with getting rid of Diaz is you invested so much in him. Like, listen, Daniel, I hate Diaz too at times, but you invested so much in him. You traded away Kalanick, you traded away Dunn, you traded away like half of your farm system for him. So I just feel like, why would you just then say, oh, skadoosh, see ya? And then, it's just, oh, what? So then we got Diaz and all these guys for what? And then we got, Cano for, yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to say is, so, okay, we get rid of Diaz, then what? Robinson Cano is worth the number 1 prospect or number 4th prospect and Justin Dunn. I don't know. Listen, Diaz, I'll give him 1 more year, and then you could possibly have some talks. Joe, what's going on, Joe? Appreciate you tuning in, Joe. Joe says Rich Hill maybe as a lefty seems like a move the Mets should make. Yeah, I honestly have no problem of the Mets re-signing Rich Hill. I understand, if you want a younger lefty, I understand that. I think Rich Hill, how old is Rich Hill, Mr. Dick Mountain? He is 41 years old. He'll be 42 when the season starts. You could use him in a bullpen role. We saw he did start some games. I've seen him pitch in person. He could give you 4 innings solid as a starter. Obviously, it's kind of a little first starter. You could put him in the bullpen role. If you have a guy who gets taken out early, like let's say Walker or someone gets taken out in the 4th, 5th inning, maybe you could put him in there, eat up 6, 7. If you used a lot of your bullpen the night before, you could have him eat a lot of innings. He's good for eating innings. He has a nice curveball. His velocity isn't there, but he seems to get the job done. And he was pretty solid in the bullpen and as a starter this season. So I wouldn't be opposed to it, honestly. You sign up for a 1-year deal. We have to bring back Strowman. Trey says we have to bring back Strowman. Yankees did pretty well with Reggie Jackson and his mouth. Strowman will do as well as a sinker ball pitcher with Lindor and Baez in the infield. That's funny. You bring the Reggie Jackson. Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand the clubhouse chemistry. I get it. He had a little issue with Keith Hernandez online, and we're going to keep it at that. Definitely doesn't look good that you're going after him. Listen, I understand the situation. I don't have an opinion on it, but, just keep your mouth shut. That's really all I'm going to say is, these guys are making millions of dollars. Just get along. Like, don't be fighting over rat and raccoons in the dugout, even though it wasn't really a fight. Yeah, I find it so foolish. I really do. No shame in Soto homering off you. Yeah, I mean, Juan Soto definitely, he was the one guy that had a home run off of Aaron Loup, and it was in, August. So, really elite. I mean, we know Aaron Loup, when he first started with the Mets, his first ever pitch was bases loaded, and it hit Bryce Harper. And I was like, oh, God, watch us be another guy who can't have play discipline. And he seemed to be pretty well. He seemed to really do pretty well. So I'll take it. Hopefully he could be a guy to get things done. For the Angels, I wish him the best of luck. That's really all I could say. Kind of sucks the Mets couldn't re-sign Loup. And I know you guys have Juan Soto. Juan Soto could definitely be getting a huge mega contract deal. I could imagine he could probably get $400 million, 100% today. Joe says, bring back Strowman at all costs. I don't care the bag we throw at him. And that's, that's a good point you bring there, Joe, is, I mean, how much are you really willing to give Strowman? Are you willing to overpay Strowman because you don't, this is the thing. Mets wanted $44 million. I feel that's a little bit of, Mets wanted to give him more than that. I'm not overpaying for Steven Matz. I'd have no problem overpaying for Rich Hill and Kevin Gausman if need be. And I'm talking $5-10 million extra. I'm not paying him like Trevor Bauer money. But yeah, I mean, we're really gonna have to see. Hopefully, once Strowman gets a contract under his belt, or Gausman if he comes to the Mets, hopefully they could try to keep up who they really are. But yeah, I agree with you. Joe. I mean, at this rate, do you just give Strowman an extra 10, million, and 15 million so we can come here? We said that money talks, but besides money talks, is it actually what you have to do? Buck Showalter is not in touch with the analytical side. Yeah, and that's my big thing too, is the analytics have been big with the Mets. Mets should get Schilt. Yeah, Mike Schilt. Yeah, that is fair. He's very good. Still don't know why the Cardinals let him go. Yeah, I was surprised too. I just don't know how much he'd fit well with the New York vibes, the urgency. I kind of question how he'd mix in with that. He's good for a second half bounce back. That's something the Mets have been pretty big at. He's good for that. I don't know. I get a little nervous. But we got 15 people in the chat. Please, everyone, smash that like button. Turn on those post notifications. If you are new to the channel, we're almost at 500 subs. So tell your friends about this channel. Tell your dog about this channel. Close to 500 subs. 15 of you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys rock. If you have any questions about the Mets, the Phillies, the Dodgers, Rob Manfred, anything, drop up below. Try to answer it to the best of my ability. We got a great audience today. Great questions. Awesome questions. Loving you guys today. Joe says Mets can add some coaching staff during the work stoppage. They could do that. We know that. I think some of the Mets minor league hitting coaches have been released. So yeah, I mean that's definitely a good point you bring there, Joe. You could always do some coaching staff. Mets need a hitting coach too. Who's the hitting coach? You need a hitting coach. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, people are saying bring in Beltran as the manager. He has no coaching experience, but maybe you could bring Beltran as a hitting coach and maybe kind of be the side-by-side number 2 with the manager. Get some experience under his belt. And then, maybe a couple years down the line, well, maybe you can get something out of him. Bruce Bochy. Yeah, Bruce Bochy is a fair guy, Daniel. I think he could be a fair guy. He's only been out of the league since 2019, so that's not long. He was great with the Giants, and yeah, I think he could really be assessed with the Mets. Yeah, get him out of retirement, 100%. LFGM, of course. Ivan Dos. Rendon is a beast. As a Nats fan, I miss him. Yeah, I feel you, man. I definitely feel you. Rendon is a guy. He's getting 275. I think the Angels, 7 years, I believe. Hopefully he could start showing up with the Angels soon. I mean, they're going to really need him. He was really ranked a top 5 third baseman, and we weren't really seeing it much out of him this season. So yeah, kind of unfortunate. He couldn't really burst up this season. All Sports Fan Adam, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in. He says, I need to catch up the dream. Oh, I need to catch up the stream, but I hope you're good. Quick question. If the season started tomorrow, where would the Mets finish? And how much needs to be done to get back to the good times? What can the Mets achieve this season if they make the right trades and management in place to reach their potential? That's a great question, also. All Sports Fan Adams. If the Mets, okay, so if the season were to start tomorrow, I'm probably going to say they're going to finish in 3rd or 4th place because, one, you have no manager. Well, I don't know. I mean, you have no pitching. You have DeGrom, who is elite but questionable with his health. You have Carrasco, who's questionable overall. You have McGill, who's questionable with how many innings pitched he could go in the pitch count in the innings on his arm. You have Peterson, who is questionable with coming back from the injury. Is he going to have a sophomore/junior slump? Was 2020 just a 1-year kind of thing? I mean, that's really what I wonder. In terms of the offense, I mean, look at the roster. You have what? Alonso, McNeil. I mean, you don't have Baez on the roster now. You don't have Conforto on the roster now. We'll see if they re-sign him. You don't really have much. I mean, let's look at the Mets' 26-man roster now. It's probably nothing good. We'll look at the 40-man. How about that? I mean, if we're looking at the 40-man roster, I mean, your bullpen is pretty quiet. Your pitching is pretty quiet. I mean, you have James McCann, Pete Alonso, Luis Guillorme, J.D. Davis, Francisco Lindor. You have Mauricio on the 40-man. You have McNeil, Khalil Lee, Nimmo. You have Plummer. Oh, yeah, Plummer is the number 9th ranked prospect according to MLB Pipeline for the Mets. That is pretty good. I'm down to that. That's not too bad. I like that. I will take that. If the DH, Daniel says, if the DH is in effect this year for the National League, what do you think prying away Freddie Freeman from the Braves? I would love that, man, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Braves are going to want to extend this dude. I don't think the Braves are going to lose him. I really don't. I think he'll resign with the Braves. I think he's a Brave for life. The Braves, they had him. They drafted him. He's been with them for over a dozen years, including in the farm. He was with them when they were in their whole rebuild. I don't think they'd give him up on him now, especially after winning a World Series. Yeah, I know. It's weird about Strowman. That's true. Who's your favorite Mets prospect? Probably Brett Beatty or Francisco Alvarez. Probably. Those two guys could definitely have some good potential, I feel. Means is good when his health is good. Have to wonder how the foreign substance ban affected him. That's true. I mean, a lot of these guys pretty much have to learn how to pitch all over again, and you see a lot of these guys, whether it could be a guy like Garrett Cole, just giving an example. A lot of these pitchers that possibly cheated or may have cheated, we don't know. They used the foreign substance. As soon as it got banned, they really struggled, and they started to get their stuff back together because you have to pretty much try to learn how to pitch all over again. Glasnow was a guy who said he pretty much straight up used substances. And yeah, I mean, look what it did to him. It injured him. And I'm not saying, we got injured. How could they? That's kind of their problem. But, listen, if they could use it, I'm not opposed. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I think it kind of made really the offense around Major League Baseball kind of boring in the first half. If you bring back like the juice ball and then to an extent the substance, maybe you got to compromise, but it can get a little boring though, I feel. Marco says Strowman can be odd, I feel. Yeah, a little bit personality-wise if you're talking about team chemistry, yeah. Daniel says we have no idea how Carrasco and Walker will pitch this year. Yeah, 100%. Carrasco really had the long ball first inning issue. He would be terrible in the first inning and then be a Tom Seaver in the 2nd to 5th. I mean, that was pretty much him. The long ball was something he was giving up a lot of barrels. And Taijuan Walker, too. Taijuan Walker, I mean, He was good the first half, got fatigue, slumped the second half. He really did. He really did. Trade with A's for Manaea, Chapman, and Trevino. Sign Starling Marte, Kevin Gausman, Marcus Semien, and Seiya Suzuki. This will be a great offseason that makes the Mets competitive and keep top prospects. Well, if you're trading Manaea, Chapman, and Trevino, so Trevino's a catcher, you're getting a third baseman and a pitcher, you're going to have to trade away a top prospect for that. I mean, there's no way that you're going to only get – there's no way that they're going to accept, like, 3 Jalen Palmers. I mean, maybe they do. I personally don't see that. That's not a bad list. I kind of like that. Yeah, it's not a bad list. I think it's a solid list. I'm down to the Kevin Gausman. I'm down to the Starling Marte. I'm down to the Seiya Suzuki. I just think it comes to, the numbers are always here for the Mets, and we just seem to never really fully succeed. That's kind of been something for the Mets is, a lot of, before the season started, the Mets were expected by everyone, PECOTA rankings, all of these huge, predictions. And even I had them making the wild card, being second place. It's really been something. So yeah, we're going to have to see. It's really going to be a long off season for the Mets, long off season. Sports fan, what's going on? He says, Epler better stop talking, get to work. We have lots of pieces to fill in this lineup, especially the starting rotation. 100%. The rotation is something. We need pitching. Mets need pitching. They need a third baseman, possibly. They need a right fielder. They got a lot of work to do. And they can't be sitting around chilling. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how that goes. It's gonna be a long and stressful offseason. It really is. Hold on, I'm trying to Google something. Please stand by. All right, sorry about that. Okay. Daniel likes the list. Yeah, I think it's honestly a solid list. I'm down to the Seiya Suzuki. Seiya Suzuki, you can get cheap for the meantime. I just don't see trading for Manaea, Chapman, and Trevino and not having to give up, at least 2 to 3 of your top 10 prospects. You're going to have to give up a Mauricio or a Vientos. You keep Alvarez, obviously, but you're going to have to give up, obviously, one of the third basemen, possibly. Or shortstops, I guess you could call. I don't think there'd be any way where you would only be giving up your Jalen Palmer, Khalil Lee type guys. And Khalil Lee's already here, so you can't. I'd be kind of upset to see the Mets kind of just get rid of Khalil Lee. I feel he has some potential. Khalil Lee, obviously, not to sidetrack on him, but Khalil Lee, he was pretty good. He raked in the minor leagues. He had his complexities. He really had his complexities in the major league level. Couldn't really hit for contact. Like 1 RBI double down the line. But if he could hit at the major league level, I think he can really, really be something very special, possibly down the line. We need to extend. Oh yeah, so this is Night Baseball and Sports, loyal Nationals fan on the channel. He says we need to extend Soto, but I am not very confident about our ownership spending the money to do it. I'm not sure who the Nationals ownership is, but we'll see. We'll see, man. I can't believe Harper was MVP this year. Yeah, honestly, I think Harper kind of deserved it. He really had a revengeance. I think it honestly was down to Soto or him. I don't think Tatis was really. If Tatis had the whole season, like the first half, maybe. Overall, I think it was a pretty solid MVP, and I think it was clear that he would win it. I think it was clear from the start that he was going to win it. Next year, he could definitely possibly try and win it. Overall, I think that's really it for the most part. I think he could really, people are saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think that's a little too soon. But I definitely think that Bryce Harper could definitely have a great season. His first 2 years, he signed 2018. His first 2 years with the Nationals, with the Phillies, my apologies, were not the best. And then he really seemed to kind of blow up this season and really show the Philly fans that he is an MVP type of caliber, and he could be the same guy that he was in Nationals 2015, I believe it was, and also his Rookie of the Year. So that'll be pretty cool. We'll see how that works out for him. Travis, what's going on? Travis says Mets better start signing some great pitching soon. Yeah, Travis, they got to. We know pitching has been flying off the board very, very, very quickly because the CBA. So we are going to have to see. Alexander, what's going on? Alexander says, love the streams, Hayden. Please keep up the stellar work. Where do you picture Kevin Gausman landing? Well, I appreciate it, Alexander. That definitely touches my heart. Picture Gausman, I could possibly see him re-signing with the Giants. Who knows? Maybe somewhere on the West Coast. I could see Dodgers, Giants. Who else is? I mean, everyone's in need for pitching. Mets could definitely be a possibility. Those are some 3 options, I think. LFGM, what's going on? Ibindos, Wander Franco. Kobe says thoughts on Wander Franco extension. Yeah, really surprising. I mean, the dude hasn't even played a full season yet. He played 70 games, and Wander Franco is getting an 11-year contract worth $182 million. That's mind-boggling. And you've really been seeing these contracts start to build up, and we didn't see it a whole lot. We really don't see it a whole lot 5 years ago. We really did not see 5 years ago all of these huge free agents weren't getting this much. They were getting like $100 million, $200 million. A lot of these multi-triple million dollar contracts are nil. They really are nil. But yeah, otherwise that's don't really have much to comment on it. Good for them. He's going to be their franchise guy. They have some huge hopes on him, and I think he could definitely be something. I mean, the fact is pretty much who we talk about? Oh yeah, Franco. Got sidetracked. My apologies. Wander Franco. The fact that he had a 43 on base streak. He had great discipline at the plate at, was he 20 years old? And he is being in the same category as Brooks Robinson and other Hall of Famers. I mean, at 20 years old, he'll be 21 when the season starts. Who does that? That's crazy. It really is. Really is crazy. Dave says, Mets need to change things around, trade J.D. Davis, Dom Smith, and McNeil, and really change the team. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on J.D. Davis. I agree with you on Dominic Smith. A lot of people want to trade away Jeff McNeil, and I could see why. I just feel that it would really just be another FU to the Mets, I feel. Regardless of the chemistry and how things turned out, I really feel that Jeff McNeil can leave the Mets and turn into an elite player. I really can picture that happening. Overall, Jeff McNeil, he had a great 2018 when he played a little bit. He had an amazing 2019 All-Star game, solid 2020. I would just really hate to see the Mets just part ways with Jeff McNeil on a terrible way. We know how the whole raccoon thing left, and then the Mets kind of just shoved him out in the outfield and said, get away from Lindor. And, yeah, I mean, that really isn't the best thing in my opinion. Definitely unfortunate if the Mets are to lose McNeil. He's really a good guy, I feel. He could be a nice utility type of guy that could really offer a lot for the Mets. If he could try and just connect ball to bat contact, reenact his 2019 self, I think he can really be worth something. So I hope the Mets keep him. Dominic Smith, I agree with you, Dave. Trade away Dominic Smith. Doesn't really have any value. Defensively, he got better in the outfield, but there's nowhere to put him. Why waste his talent? And I feel offensively, I don't think he could be an everyday player. We saw that he played the max amount of games that he's ever played since being called up in 2018. And he started off a fair first half and couldn't handle the second half because he's not used to playing this. So if you want to use him as a bench bat, maybe if you give Alonso the day off, maybe he could play there. If you want to put him in left field, I mean, if there's an injury or someone needs a day off, or if there's a righty on the mound and not many balls will be going out there, I could definitely see that happening. J.D. Davis, I'm a little bit iffy as well. You have to look at J.D. Davis. What are you going to get out of him? He was injured this season. Terrible defensively in my eyes. He got a little bit better, but terrible defensively still. Still a questionable at third base. There's nowhere to put him. He's terrible in the outfield. I just don't see where you would put J.D. Davis. Maybe as a DH guy. He could really hit for some pop at times, go the opposite way. He just can't hit a fastball. And I mean, that's kind of, as a major leaguer, you should be able to hit a fastball. And Daniel is asking Dave, who would you take who would take Dom Smith, J.D. Davis, and McNeil? Well, I think a lot of teams would take McNeil. Dom Smith, I could see a team like the A's going after him. I mean, if the DH comes to the NL, that could really open up the eyes for J.D. Davis. A lot of teams that would be willing to take him, I could see a lot. I could honestly see the A's taking either of those two guys. I could see the Mariners going after J.D. Davis, maybe. That'd be interesting. Maybe the Astros. There's a lot of teams out there, I feel. LFGM. Yeah, I mean, listen, they're going after bad years. I get that. But, I mean, so is Conforto. And Conforto, I mean, all these teams are going after Conforto. So, I mean, I see the point there. But McNeil, he really only had one good season and one bad season. So, it's kind of tough to tell with McNeil. Dom Smith, on the other hand, is, yeah, I agree with that. We should get in those trades. I mean, I'd be down. I'd be down for Dom Smith and J.D. Davis, but not McNeil. LFGM. Dave says we should re-sign Strowman and Baez. I agree with 100%, man, 100%. Trey says Steve Cohen's Mets has so much potential, it's hard seeing them struggle. Yeah, really is. I mean, listen, we knew that it wasn't going to be pretty coming in. Daniel says, what's this December 1st CBA expiration? Will there be a baseball season this year? That's a good question. Hopefully. I really hope. Pretty much the CBA is pretty much where they renew kind of like where they renew everything pretty much to an extent. And I'm seeing that they're not agreeing on the luxury cap. The DH and that stuff, that's not the issue. It's luxury cap. And will the Players Association and the MLB executives and the owners agree? It's not looking good. Will baseball season be played this year? I hope so. I mean, I think there'll be a lockout. I think it'll be 2 weeks probably. The lockout could be 2 days. It could be 2 hours. It could be 2 years. It could be 2 months. Probably won't be 2 years. It could really be any amount of time, and I question how long can it be. I really hope it's not that long. Otherwise, yeah, there's really not much I could do about it, sadly. Elliot says Barrios extension is bussin'. It is. Good that they signed Jose Barrios. They re-signed him, and it's good the Blue Jays re-signed him. I think I talked. Did you? Maybe you asked us last year, maybe it was someone else. But it was needed. You gave up a lot for Jose Barrios. I think they gave up. I want to say they gave up a lot to get Jose Barrios. I think they gave up like 2 first-round prospects. I think that they got. So yeah, you really wanted to sign him there. You have the possibility of losing Robbie Ray. You lost Steven Matz. The rotation is something that was a question mark. Their offense is elite. No doubt about it. Vlad Jr., Marcus Semien, Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio should be coming back. I mean, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Randall Grichuk. The offense is there, no doubt about it. The pitching, questionable. Pitching is questionable. The bullpen's pretty fine. No issues with the bullpen for the most part. Starting rotation is questionable. Hyun-Jin Ryu didn't have the best season. He had a solid season, but not the best. Not the all-star Cy Young season that he's been used to. Robbie Ray was able to carry the train a lot. The Barrios trade really came into effect and helped them a lot in the second half. So it's good that you extended him. Blue Jays, if they lose Robbie Ray, it's a good thing that they extended Barrios. They'll have him for, I think, 7 years. So that's pretty good. David says Mets need to roll the dice. They do, man. They do. When will Brett Beatty be ready, says Daniel. I'm hoping 2022, 2023. I think he'll be ready. Defensively, he has some work to do, I think. But offensively, he's looking fine. Has raw power, hitting for the opposite field. Offensively, he's fine. Defensively, maybe he could put some more work in, I think. But 2022, 2023, I feel. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too. Maybe even September 2022 is a call-up, maybe, for Vientos also. But yeah, please, everyone, we're at the hour mark. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, drop them below. Get these final comments out of the way. If you guys have any comments, don't be afraid. Drop them below. Gallipo says, heard the Mets are trying to sign Taylor Rogers as Loup replacement. Has a good track record. Do it, Mets. Yeah, Taylor Rogers could be a guy from the Twins. You need a lefty in the bullpen. You really have no lefties. I mean, you have Peterson, Lucchesi, and Lucchesi won't even be starting the season healthy. Zappucki won't even be starting the season healthy. So, you need a lefty. Rogers could be a fair pick if you get him for the right price, I feel. Will there be a lockdown, says George. Yeah, I guess hopefully you did hear what I said. I think there will be. I think it'll be like 2 weeks, though. I don't think it'll be extremely long. I hope it's not really long anyways. So, I mean, we'll have to see. Cole, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, man. What's going on? Alexander, LFGM, indeed. How did the Mets let Loup get away? Was probably the Mets' most consistent reliever last year, says Elevate. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%, Elliot. He was really the guy who was the most effective pitcher, not named Jacob deGrom, throughout the whole season, honestly. I mean, he really only had like 1 or 2 bad starts for the most part. Was really elite. Really unfortunate that Mets had to let him go. Great stream. I appreciate it, guys. Cole says Batty ranked number 3 in the Fall League, which was pretty cool. Yeah, he did rank number 3. I thought it was number 2. Maybe it was number 3. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah, I think it was number 3. Yeah, that is really good, honestly, and you really like to see that in your farm system, that a lot of these guys are succeeding. You like to see it. You really do. You like to see it. Great video. Appreciate it. Good stream. Appreciate the stream, bro. Take care, Mets fans. You rock. Absolutely. So we'll probably call it a stream here, guys. I do appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you guys can, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, subscribe to the channel. I think we're 3 or 4 subscribers away from 500. Yep, we are. So please, let's try to get to 500 subs. We're almost there. Tell your friends about this channel. If you have to make an account for your dog, your lizard, any pets, I don't know what pets you guys have. Please do that. That would be very much appreciated. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I did upload 2 videos the past couple days. One going over if Seiya Suzuki will be going to Major League Baseball, particularly the Mets. So if you guys could check that out, please feel free to do that. And I also did upload a video in regards to the Anaheim Angels signing Aaron Loup. So if you guys could check out those videos, give those videos a like, comment. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Till next time, baseball fans. See ya. Let's go, Mets.